What begins as a routine talk show interview soon spirals into a raw, unscripted meltdown on live television. What happens when a prince already exiled and embattled is pushed too far by a host who refuses to hold back? You're about to witness the moment Prince Harry lost control, and America watched it live. The studio buzzed with quiet anticipation. Audience members fidgeted in their seats, some clutching their phones in hopes of capturing a royal moment gone viral. On paper, it was a standard daytime interview, a promotional spot for Prince Harry's memoir, expected to be polite, maybe emotional, but controlled. What no one knew was that beneath Harry's tailored suit and carefully practiced smiles, a storm had already begun to form. The doors opened. Applause thundered through the room as Prince Harry stepped onto the stage. Dressed immaculately in a crisp navy suit with no tie, he looked composed. But to those paying closer attention, there was a distinct tightness around his mouth, a flicker in his eyes. He wasn't just here to talk about a book. He was here to be heard, to be seen. "Welcome to The View, Your Royal Highness," Whoopi said, her voice friendly but deliberate. Harry gave a strange smile. Just that title doesn't mean much these days. Laughter rippled, but Whoopi tilted her head. It means something to a lot of people. You may not be working royal anymore, but you're still a prince in the public eye. "Titles didn't protect my wife," he responded quietly but firmly. "They didn't protect my mother either." A silence fell. The tension was subtle, but unmistakable. Sunny Hust shifted in her seat. Joy Behar glanced at the teleprompter, already sensing they were veering off script. Whoopi regrouped. "Well, let's start with the book. It's raw, personal, painful." "Why now?" Harry looked into the camera as if addressing the world. "Because silence is what killed my mother. I won't repeat that mistake." As the conversation deepened, the temperature in the studio seemed to rise with every exchange. The audience could feel it. The polite smiles, the subtle verbal jabs, the interruptions that began to carry weight. "Your memoir paints a difficult picture of your family," Whoopi noted, adjusting her glasses. "Some people say you're airing grievances best kept private." Harry didn't flinch. Those people never lived inside that palace, never watched their spouse suffer in silence while the institution protected its image at all costs. "Isn't it possible," Whoopi countered, "that your version of the truth is just that, a version? Others might see things differently." "I'm not here to tell their story," Harry snapped. "I'm telling mine. And if that makes people uncomfortable, maybe it should." The studio grew tense. Even the floor manager stopped pacing. Sonny Austin tried to lighten the mood. "Harry, is there a part of you that misses the life you left behind?" His expression darkened. "What life? The one where I was expected to smile while my soul crumbled? Where appearances were valued more than mental health? I don't miss being a symbol. I miss being human." "But now you've traded royal duty for media deals," Whoopi interjected. "Some say it's not so different." "The difference," Harry shot back, "is now I speak on my terms, not theirs." The tension had metastasized into something else, something volatile. The smiles were gone. The small talk evaporated. Whoopi folded her hands. "Harry, critics say your actions have caused irreparable harm to the monarchy. That you've taken your pain and turned it into profit." His nostrils flared. "You mean I told the truth, and the truth made people uncomfortable?" "You've got Netflix deals, Spotify exclusives, book royalties," Whoopi said. "Some feel you've commodified your trauma. You think I wanted this?" Harry's voice rose. "That I dreamed of becoming tabloid fodder again, this time on my own terms. I wanted a quiet life. They dragged us out, forced us to explain our side just to survive. And yet you're here," Whoopi said, cool as ever. "Still talking." "Because I have to," he hissed. "Because people like you keep questioning my right to tell my story." "Or maybe," she said sharply, "they're questioning the narrative you're selling." The air grew thick. You could feel the audience holding its collective breath. Whoopi's voice was low but firm. "Do you believe that turning your family's pain into public spectacle will heal you?" Harry stood suddenly, his chair scraping loudly. "I believe silence would have killed me." It almost did. A murmur swept through the audience. Security near the side of the stage stepped subtly closer. "You want to call it revenge? Fine, call it that," he continued, voice trembling. "But it's also survival." Whoopi rose, mirroring his posture. "You call this survival? This looks a lot like destruction." "No," he growled. "What destroyed us was the crown, the silence, the pretending. This is truth. It's spectacle." Whoopi countered. Harry took a step toward her. "You don't know what it's like to beg for help and be ignored. To watch your wife slip away day by day because no one will lift a finger." "I know what public pain looks like," Whoopi said. But I also know there's a fine line between justice and vengeance. Harry's voice dropped. And what about love? Does that mean nothing? You don't prove love by burning bridges, she said. You prove it by building better ones. Just when the room thought the worst had passed, Harry turns back, and what follows is a public unraveling no one can unsee. As Prince Harry stormed away from the semicircle of co-hosts, his footsteps echoing with fury against the studio floor, a producer off-camera motioned for them to cut to commercial. But Whoopi Goldberg raised a hand sharply. No, let the cameras roll. This was no longer just an interview. It had become a revelation. Harry pivoted just as he reached the edge of the stage. You talk about respect, he growled, voice trembling with rage. Where was your respect when my wife cried for help and was mocked in tabloids, you all quote? A gasp rippled through the crowd. The camera zoomed in on Whoopi, who stood from her chair slowly, carefully, as if a single sudden move might ignite something irreversible. Respect, she repeated, her voice calm but cold, means knowing the difference between telling your story and blaming the world for how it reacts. Harry stepped forward again. You're a mother, a black woman, and still you choose to defend an institution that tried to erase my wife. Whoopi's jaw tightened. I also believe in accountability. Your wife's pain is valid, but so is the pain of every person you've trampled on while delivering your truth like a hammer. The audience had gone eerily quiet. Security began inching closer, unsure whether they were needed or just props to the chaos. You don't get it, Harry muttered, his voice cracked with exhaustion now. We lived like prisoners in palaces. We smiled for cameras while dying inside. And every time we asked for help, they fed us to the wolves. Do you know what it's like to feel your wife slipping away from you emotionally day after day while the world calls her a liar? I do know pain, Whoopi responded. But I also know what it means to stay and fight. You chose to run. Harry flinched. I chose survival. The line between guest and enemy blurs. The studio becomes a battlefield. Words as weapons, truth, and pride, locked in a duel for dignity. The studio now felt less like a daytime set and more like a courtroom. Harry paced. Whoopi remained stone still. You don't get to tell me what courage is, Harry shouted, his voice ricocheting off studio walls. Courage is protecting your family. Courage is leaving behind royalty and security for love and peace. No, Whoopi snapped, stepping forward now. Courage is facing the storm, not running from it. You had power, platform, and legacy. You burned it down. And yet, I'm still the villain, Harry scoffed bitterly. Tell me, who really benefits from that narrative? You made yourself the center of a tragedy that belongs to many, she replied. Even your brother carries wounds. But he doesn't weaponize them. Harry's fists clenched. You don't know what he's done. And you don't know what he's had to carry because you left. Suddenly, the teleprompters glitched and went blank. The show had gone fully rogue now. Producers were panicking, whispering into headsets. Still, the two stood center stage, locked in a battle that had long ago stopped being just about words. I left because the system was killing us, Harry cried. My mother died because she was silenced. Meghan almost followed. And you, he pointed, you mock me for not staying in a palace of ghosts. I mock no one, Whoopi said. But you're not the only one with scars. The difference is some of us don't turn them into bestsellers. The audience exhaled collectively like they'd been holding their breath for minutes. Someone shouted, let him speak. Another yelled back, let her finish. And then silence again. Harry's voice dropped to a whisper. If telling my truth means losing everyone, then maybe I never had them to begin with. There's always a final line in the sand. This time it's drawn live on air, and when Harry crosses it, there's no going back. You know what, Whoopi? Harry said, eyes blazing. You've become exactly what I feared. Another gatekeeper in a world that punishes those who speak out. Whoopi shook her head. And you've become another man who thinks his pain is a crown. At that moment, the audience stood. Not all at once, not in unison, but row by row, people rose, some in stunned respect, others in disbelief, some even applauded. It was unclear for whom. Harry breathed hard. He looked at the lights, the audience, the hosts. Each one a reflection of what he'd lost or left behind. Then Whoopi took a step forward and said the words that would trend globally within minutes. Prince or not, some of you, this is my show. You've disrespected everyone here. You're done. Please leave the stage. A stunned murmur broke out. Camera zoomed in on Harry's frozen expression. For a full 5 seconds, he didn't move. Then quietly, he said, They silenced my mother. You're silencing me. No, Whoopi said. You've been heard loud and clear, and the world will decide what they believe. Harry turned and walked off the stage. No security was needed. He didn't slam doors or look back. The remaining hosts sat in shell-shocked silence. Whoopi faced the camera. Her voice was low, but steady. "We'll be right back after this break, but I doubt anything will ever be quite the same again." What did you think of this unbelievable confrontation? Was Prince Harry unfairly attacked? Or did Whoopi finally say what millions were thinking? Let us know in the comments. And for more powerful moments like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is where talk shows become